Okay, good evening, class. Today we're going to be doing exploring transformations. Now, when you look at this graph of x, you're given a function. Now, on this function, they're going to give you the points, or they're giving you the points that say f of negative 2 is 1, f of negative 1 is negative 1, f of 0 is 2, f of 1 is 1, and f of 2 is 3, and f of 3 is 0. That's where those points are coming from. So what they're asking you is they're telling you to complete a sketch and a table of graph based upon I'm not quite sure what my pen's doing, so let me try that again. Okay. Based upon x plus 2. So I'm going to look at my values. And I see that I have x plus 2. Well, my x is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 2 is going to give me a negative 2. So that gives me f of negative 2. So for f of negative 2, I'm going to look over here. For everything you get, guys, you are going to use that table. So f of negative 2, it's saying is 1. So I'm going to now graph the point negative 4, 1 on my graph. Negative 4, 1, which would be about right here. And you're going to do that for each one. So let's do another one. Next I have negative 3. So I know that negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. F of negative 1 is negative 1. So then I have negative 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So if I look up here to f of 0, I'm going to see 2. Then I'm going to plug in negative 1. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. F of 1 is 1. So now I'm going to plug in a 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. F of 2 is 3. That is a 3. Then I'm going to plug in 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. F of 3 is 0. And then I'm going to graph these points over here. And you're going to see, once you graph it, how it changes. How it transforms. So let's go to the next page. Yes, I did drop the mic. Let's try this again. Okay, so now I have, you can see I brought my table there because that's how important that table is to have from the first page. So write that table from your first page onto the second page so you can have that. So I'm going to plug in my 0 for my x. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. F of negative 2 is negative 1. So that's going to be a negative 1. And then we would keep going. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. F of negative 1 is still a negative 1. And I believe the first one, 0 minus 2, negative 2, I said negative 1, but now that I look at that, that's a positive 1, guys. And this one's a negative 1. So then I have 2 minus 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. F of 0 is 2. Now keep going and finish that chart out. I'm going to give you a minute, then I'll tell you what you should have gotten. Okay, when you plugged in 3, you should have did 3 minus 2, which is 1, and f of 1 would have been a 1. When you plugged in 4, you should have got 4 minus 2, which is 2, and f of 2 is a 3. And when you plugged in 5, you would have had 5 minus 2, which is 3, and 3 would be a 0. And then these are the coordinates that you're going to graph here. Now let's move on to number 4. Okay, so for number 4, I have f of a number minus 2. But you notice that your x is in parentheses, which means I got to find out what the function is first. So if I plug in a negative 2 here, I can see that f of negative 2 is 1. So in essence, I have 1 minus 2, which is going to give me a negative 1. So this value will be a negative 1. So make sure you understand you have to find what your f is, your function is, and then subtract 2 from that number. So f of negative 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. So now I'm going to do f of 0. F of 0 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So now I have f of 1, which is 1. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. And then I have f of 2, which is 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. And then I have f of 3, which is 0. And 0 minus 2, correct, is negative 2. So then I'm going to plot those coordinates on the graph as well. Make sure you plot. I'm going to be looking for that plot when you come to class tomorrow. So now let's go to the next page. We're going to actually go to number 6. Who can tell me why we're going to number 6? That is correct, because it's a fraction. Okay, so let's look at number 6. So I have f 1/2 of x. So guys, the 1/2 is in parentheses. It means I need to take half of my x value before I proceed to look at my table. So that's half of negative 4. Don't get confused. 1/2 times negative 4 still means if you have negative 4 and you split it in half, what do you have? So half of negative 4 is, correct, negative 2. And then my function for f of negative 2 is 1. What is half of negative 2? Half of negative 2 is negative 1. So my function for negative 1 is negative 1. What's half of 0? Correct, that's 0. So the function for 0 is 2. And then we have, that's a 2, believe it or not, guys. And then we have half of 2, which is 1. F of 1 is 1. Half of 4 is 2. F of 2 is 3. Half of 6 is 3. F of 3 is 0. Then you're going to plot these coordinates once again on the graph. Okay, class, go ahead and look through the rest of your packet. Now, as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. This page looks a lot the same, but notice one thing. Your half is on the outside there. So what would you do? I have f of x, so f of negative 2 would be 1. But now what do I got to do with that 1? Take half of it, and it would be 1/2 or 0.5. But don't worry if that kind of confused you a little bit, because that's what we're going to pick up tomorrow. I hope you took good notes. I hope you paid attention, and I hope you come to school tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.